Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever looked around and wondered why some people seem to have everything fall into place? The career, the confidence, the success, while others, just as talented, keep hitting the same walls over and over again? Here's the truth: most people never realize it's not luck, it's not timing, it's not even hard work, it's thinking. Because your life doesn't change when your circumstances change. It changes when you change the way you think. Every great success story you've ever heard started with one moment: a mental shift, a decision to stop living by default and start living by design. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly how to create that shift, how to break free from the limits you didn't even know you had, and how to rewire your mind for the kind of success that lasts, not just in your career, but in your life, your relationships, and your peace of mind. So, if you're ready to stop surviving and start thriving, stay with me. Because what we're about to explore might just change everything you thought you knew about success. Most people never realize just how powerful their minds truly are. They wake up, go through their day, and accept whatever happens as just life. But the truth is far deeper than that. Every single experience, every emotion, every opportunity, and every obstacle you face is first born inside your mind. Your thoughts don't just describe your world, they create it. Think about it. Every great invention, every business, every relationship, every dream that ever became real started as a single thought. The car you drive, the phone you hold, even the house you live in, all of it began in someone's imagination. Before it became a physical object, it existed as an idea. That's how reality works. The outer world is built by the inner world. But here's the thing most people miss. This law doesn't only apply to inventors or visionaries. It applies to you right now. The way you think about yourself, your future, your limitations, and your potential, all of it determines how you act, what you attract, and ultimately what kind of life you live. If you constantly think, "I'm not good enough," your brain looks for evidence to prove that thought right. You'll notice every failure, every rejection, every shortcoming. But if you think, "I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm getting stronger," your brain begins to filter the world differently. Suddenly, setbacks become lessons. Challenges become training grounds. You start to see opportunity where others see defeat. It's not magic, it's mindset. Your thoughts trigger your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions. And your actions create your results. Change the root, the thought, and everything else follows. Most people are living inside an invisible cage built by their own thinking. They've been told what's possible, what's realistic, what they should or shouldn't do, and they accepted it without question. They've been conditioned to believe in limits, but limits exist only in the mind that believes them. The moment you change what you believe, the walls begin to disappear. That's why successful people think differently. They don't see their thoughts as background noise, they see them as tools. When they want to create a new result, they don't start with action, they start with belief. They ask, "What must I think in order to make this possible?" If you think in scarcity, you'll make decisions from fear. If you think in abundance, you'll act with confidence. If you think you're powerless, you'll hold back. But if you think you're capable, resourceful, and worthy, you'll start moving in ways that create success almost naturally. The thought always comes before the breakthrough. You attract what you believe you deserve. The energy you project through your thoughts, your words, your focus, sends signals to the world around you. If you constantly dwell on problems, you'll see more problems. But if you direct your mind toward gratitude, solutions, and growth, life begins to align with that energy. People notice your shift. Opportunities show up. Doors open that you didn't even know existed. It's not because the universe suddenly changed. It's because you did. The lens you look through determines what you see. When you decide to think differently, you start seeing a different world. The question, then, isn't whether your thoughts shape reality. It's whether you're shaping them intentionally. Are you choosing your thoughts, or are your thoughts choosing you? Every day, you have thousands of thoughts running through your mind. Many of them are recycled, repeating the same patterns, the same doubts, the same fears. And if you don't take control, those old thought patterns will keep producing the same results. That's why some people feel stuck, not because life is against them, but because their thinking never evolved beyond their past experiences. The moment you start paying attention, really noticing what you think about yourself and your potential, everything begins to change. Awareness is power. When you catch yourself thinking small, stop and shift it. Replace "I can't" with "I'll find a way." Replace "this is too hard" with "this is teaching me strength." You'll be amazed at how your world starts responding. You'll notice people treating you differently, ideas flowing more easily, opportunities appearing in places that once seemed impossible. It's not luck, it's alignment. You are aligning your inner reality with the outer results you want. If your thoughts shape your reality, then the greatest investment you can ever make is in your mindset. Read, learn, listen, reflect. Surround yourself with people who lift your thoughts higher. Because when you elevate your thinking, you elevate your entire life. Your mind is the blueprint of your destiny. Every thought is a brushstroke painting your future. If you want a masterpiece, you can't keep using the same dull colors of doubt, fear, and negativity. You must start painting with faith, vision, and purpose. You are not a victim of your thoughts. You are the author of them. And the story you write in your mind is the story that will unfold in your life. So choose your thoughts wisely. Choose them consciously. Choose the ones that build, that empower, that inspire. Because the reality you live tomorrow is being written by the thoughts you think today. Most people look at successful individuals and assume they're lucky. Born into the right family, given the right breaks, or just somehow wired differently. But that's not the truth. The difference between ordinary people and those who achieve extraordinary success isn't talent, timing, or circumstance. It's how they think. Successful people don't think the way everyone else does. They've trained their minds to see the world through a completely different lens. While most people focus on what's missing, successful people focus on what's possible. While others look for excuses, they look for opportunities. While some get paralyzed by fear, they get energized by challenge. Their mindset isn't built on luck, it's built on mental discipline. They've learned that what you feed your mind becomes the foundation of your results. That's why they're intentional with what they read, what they listen to, and who they spend time with. They protect their thoughts like treasure. Because they know their thoughts create their destiny. When something goes wrong, the average person says, "Why is this happening to me?" The successful person says, "What is this trying to teach me?" It's not just positive thinking, it's constructive thinking. They train their minds to turn pain into purpose, rejection into redirection, and problems into possibilities. You see, the way you think during hard times determines how far you'll go in good times. Successful people understand that adversity isn't an enemy, it's a teacher. They don't avoid it, they use it. They turn every setback into a stepping stone. When the average person stops at failure, the successful one sees it as a checkpoint on the road to mastery. There's a simple but powerful truth. Your mind is either your greatest ally or your biggest enemy. If you don't control your thoughts will control you. And the people who win in life, truly win, are the ones who decide to take charge of their inner world. Think about it. Every great leader, athlete, entrepreneur, or creator had moments of doubt, fear, and failure. The difference is they didn't stay there. They reprogrammed their minds to keep moving. They turned "I can't" into "I will." They turned "this is impossible" into "let's figure out how." They turned fear into focus. That's what makes successful people so different. They don't wait to feel confident before they act. They act until they become confident. They don't wait for motivation to appear. They create it through movement. They think in terms of responsibility, not excuses. They ask, "What can I do?" instead of "Who can I blame?" And because of that, their entire energy shifts. When you believe life is happening for you, not to you, everything changes. You begin to see patterns, opportunities, and doors that were invisible before. That's how successful people operate. They think forward, not backward. They don't waste time replaying the past. They're too focused on designing their future. It's not that they don't experience fear, they just interpret it differently. Where others see fear as a stop sign, they see it as a signal of growth. They know that if something scares them, it probably means it's worth doing. And that's why they keep expanding. Because their thinking is not ruled by comfort, it's ruled by purpose. Successful people think long term. They're not chasing instant gratification, they're building lasting growth. While others look for shortcuts, they focus on strategies. They don't just ask, "What do I want now?" They ask, "Who do I want to become?" They understand that success is not about achieving one goal. It's about evolving into a person capable of achieving many. Every challenge, every risk, every late night, and every lesson is a part of that transformation. And that transformation begins with mindset. If you observe truly successful individuals, you'll notice something powerful. They expect good things to happen. They expect to win. They expect growth, progress, and abundance. And because they expect it, they act accordingly. That expectation becomes self-fulfilling. Meanwhile, the average person often expects struggle, failure, and rejection. And that's exactly what they find. It's not because the world is against them. It's because their mind has been trained to see obstacles instead of openings. That's why the greatest shift you can ever make in life is not external. It's internal. When you start thinking like a successful person, you start living like one. The outer world always follows the inner world. So how do successful people think? They think in terms of creation, not reaction. They think in terms of growth, not comfort. They think in terms of possibility, not limitation. They don't wait for the perfect conditions, they create them. They don't hope to find a way, they make one. And even when they fall forward. Because to them, failure is not final, it's feedback. That's the mindset that changes everything. It's not about being smarter, luckier, or more talented. It's about being mentally stronger. It's about thinking in a way that pulls you forward instead of holding you back. Because once you learn to think like a successful person, success stops being something you chase, it becomes something you attract. Most people underestimate the power of their own mind. They think success is about working harder, hustling longer, or chasing opportunity after opportunity. But the truth is, what controls your life is not your effort, it's your subconscious programming. Your subconscious mind is like an operating system running quietly in the background. It stores every belief, every experience, every emotion you've ever had. It decides what feels safe, what feels possible, and what feels out of reach. You may consciously say, "I want to be successful." But if your subconscious has been programmed to believe you're not worthy, it will quietly sabotage every step you take. It's not that you're broken or weak. It's that your programming hasn't been updated. You can't run new dreams on old beliefs. From the moment you were born, your subconscious began absorbing everything around you. The words your parents spoke, the behaviors they modeled, the way teachers treated you, the things society said were realistic. All of it became part of your internal coding. Those beliefs turned into patterns. And now, as an adult, you're living them without even realizing it. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from trying something new because a small voice said, "You're not ready," or "You might fail," or "You're just not that kind of person"? That voice isn't the real you. That's the old programming speaking. Your subconscious doesn't care if something is true or false. It simply believes what it hears most often. That's why repetition is so powerful. The thoughts you repeat every day are the commands you give your subconscious. Say, "I can't," enough times, and your brain stops looking for ways to prove you can. Say, "I will," enough times, and your brain starts finding evidence to make it real. Reprogramming your subconscious begins with awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. Start by paying attention to your self-talk, that quiet, ongoing conversation happening in your mind. Every time you catch yourself thinking something limiting, pause and challenge it. Ask yourself, "Is this fact or just a belief I picked up?" When you shine light on a false belief, it begins to lose its power. You start taking your mind off autopilot and placing it back in your control. Visualization is another powerful reprogramming tool. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, seeing it, hearing it, feeling it, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It begins to treat that vision as familiar, as possible, as safe. And once it feels safe, your subconscious will begin to move you toward it automatically. That's why elite athletes visualize their victories before stepping on the field. Why entrepreneurs envision their success before it happens. They're not just dreaming, they're installing new mental software. They're teaching their subconscious what to believe. But visualization alone isn't enough. You have to feel it. Emotion is the language of the subconscious mind. If you think a thought, but don't feel it deeply, it won't stick. But when you think and feel in alignment, when you believe with emotion, that's when real transformation happens. You can't say, "I'm confident," while still feeling fear and doubt, and expect your subconscious to believe you. You must feel confidence. You must act. Speak and carry yourself as if it's already true. That's when your subconscious begins to rewrite its story. Repetition, emotion, and visualization, that's the formula. Say it, feel it, see it, live it, over and over until it becomes who you are. Remember, your subconscious was not designed to make you successful. It was designed to keep you safe. That means it will always prefer the familiar, even if the familiar is pain, struggle, or limitation. To create a new life, You must make success familiar. Affirm it daily. Speak it out loud. Surround yourself with reminders of where you're going, not where you've been. Listen to empowering messages. Replace every "I can't" with "I'm becoming," every "I'm not enough" with "I'm growing every day." Over time, those new words rewire your brain. This isn't hype, it's neuroscience. Repetition creates new neural pathways. When you think a new thought repeatedly, your brain starts firing in new patterns. Those new patterns create new emotions, new habits, and new results. Reprogramming your subconscious isn't about pretending your life is perfect. It's about giving your mind a new direction. It's about upgrading your mental software so it matches your highest potential instead of your past. Imagine this: your mind is a garden. Every thought is a seed. If you keep planting doubt, you'll grow more of it. But if you start planting faith, confidence, and vision, those seeds will eventually take over the entire garden. You are not stuck. You're just running an old mental program. And the beautiful truth is, you can rewrite it, starting today. Every time you choose a thought of courage over fear, growth over comfort, love over insecurity, you're reprogramming your subconscious for success. You're teaching your mind that abundance is normal, that confidence is safe, that achievement is your natural state. And once your subconscious believes that, your actions will align automatically. You'll stop forcing results and start flowing into them. You'll stop chasing success and start attracting it. Because when your subconscious mind is on your side, nothing can stand in your way. Have you ever noticed how two people can face the same challenge, yet one rises stronger while the other feels stuck? The difference isn't in what they experience, it's in what they ask themselves afterward. Questions are powerful. They shape your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately, your results. Every time you ask yourself a question, your brain goes searching for an answer. Even if it has to make one up, the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask. Most people, without realizing it, ask themselves terrible questions every single day. Why am I always struggling? Why can't I ever get a break? What's wrong with me? These questions trap you in the same emotional state that created your problem in the first place. Your brain will always try to answer, so if you ask, "Why do I always fail?" it will gladly give you a list of reasons. But successful people, they ask different questions, and because of that, they get different answers. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Instead of asking, "Why can't I do this?" they ask, "How can I make this work?" Instead of saying, "I'm stuck," they ask, "What's the next smallest step I can take right now?" But the brain is like a search engine. It gives you results based on the questions you type in. Most people keep typing in doubt, fear, and limitation, and wonder why the results are so discouraging. The successful ones type in curiosity, confidence, and solutions, and they find doors others can't even see. Questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Ask the wrong ones, and you'll drive yourself deeper into fear. Ask the right ones, and you'll steer yourself toward growth, clarity, and purpose. When you change your questions, you don't just change your thoughts. You change your emotions, your actions, and eventually your entire destiny. Let's be real. Life will challenge you. You will have failures, disappointments, and heartbreaks. But during those moments, the question you ask yourself will determine whether you grow or give up. When something doesn't go your way, most people say, "Why me?" But if you ask, What strength is this moment building in me? Your perspective transforms instantly. You shift from victim mode to growth mode. You stop seeing yourself as powerless and start seeing yourself as the author of your story. That single shift in questioning can take you from hopeless to unstoppable. Think about every great innovator, leader, or creator in history. They were all guided by better questions. Thomas Edison didn't ask, "Why haven't I figured this out yet?" He asked, "What can I learn from this failed attempt to make the next one better?" Elon Musk didn't ask, "Why can't space travel be easier?" He asked, "How can I make it easier?" Oprah Winfrey didn't ask, "Why did life deal me such a hard hand?" She asked, "What can I do with the life I've been given?" Better questions expand your perspective. They take your focus away from the problem and point it toward the solution. They help your mind work for you, not against you. The truth is, your brain is incredibly obedient. Whatever question you feed it, it will answer. So the key is to ask questions that build, not break you. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," try asking, "How can I find a way to afford this?" Instead of, "Why does this always happen to me?" ask, "What can I do differently next time?" Instead of, "I don't have enough time," ask, "What's the best use of my time right now?" These subtle shifts change everything. The moment you ask a better question, your energy changes. You go from feeling defeated to feeling creative, from helpless to powerful, from hopeless to focused. Even your self-belief is shaped by your questions. If you keep asking, "What if I'm not enough?" your mind will list every insecurity you've ever had. But if you start asking, "What if I already have everything I need to begin?" your brain starts finding proof of your potential. The human mind is designed to seek meaning, and meaning always follows the question. If you ask small questions, you get small answers. Ask bigger questions, and your life expands to meet them. So the next time life knocks you down, pause and ask yourself something empowering. What is this trying to teach me? How can I grow from this? What's one small thing I can do right now to move forward? That's how successful people think. Not because they're fearless, but because they've trained their minds to ask empowering questions instead of limiting ones. They use curiosity as fuel. They use reflection as strategy. They never waste a challenge. They turn every difficulty into data. And here's the beautiful part. The more often you ask better questions, the more natural it becomes. Your brain starts doing it automatically. Soon, every obstacle you face turns into a conversation with your higher self, not a reason to quit. Your mind becomes a powerful tool, not a battlefield. And that's when real success begins. Not when everything is easy, but when you've learned to think differently about what's hard. Because at the end of the day, your life will rise or fall to the level of the questions you ask. So make them count. Ask boldly. Ask intelligently. Ask with faith. Because when you ask better questions, you open the door to better answers. And better answers build a better life. Everyone wants to change something in their life. A better job, a healthier body, more money, deeper relationships, inner peace. But here's the truth that most people overlook. Real transformation doesn't start out there. It starts in here. You can switch careers, move to a new city, change your surroundings, even change the people around you. But if you don't change your mindset, you'll eventually recreate the same problems in a new environment. Because no matter where you go, you take you with you. Transformation isn't about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering who you've always been beneath the doubt, the fear, and the limitations you've accepted. It's not about adding something new. It's about peeling away everything that's not truly you. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Every result you see in your life, your success, your stress, your happiness, your chaos, is a mirror of what's happening within you. If your mind is scattered, your life will feel scattered. If your heart is heavy, your results will carry that same weight. But when your thoughts are clear, your purpose strong, and your emotions aligned, your life begins to rise to that level of clarity. That's why lasting change never comes from external effort alone. You can set goals, make resolutions, and push yourself as hard as you want. But if your inner beliefs don't match your vision, you'll always find yourself sabotaging your progress. It's like trying to plant a garden in toxic soil. No matter how beautiful the seeds, they won't grow until the ground is healed. Your mind works the same way. Before you can create a new reality, you have to nurture the inner space it grows from. That means confronting your limiting beliefs, the stories you've been telling yourself for years. I'm not good enough. I always fail. I don't deserve better. These thoughts aren't truths. They're outdated programs. They were installed by experiences that may no longer define you. The moment you question them, you begin to weaken their hold. Transformation begins the moment you stop blaming the outside world and start taking ownership of your inner one. When you realize that your power doesn't come from your circumstances, but from your choices. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control what happens within you. That's where your freedom begins. When you shift your inner world, your focus, your beliefs, your emotions, everything external starts to rearrange itself to match that new vibration. You attract different people. You notice new opportunities. You start making decisions from clarity instead of confusion, from courage instead of fear. And here's something most people miss at transformation isn't a single event. It's a daily practice. It's choosing every morning to think differently, to respond differently, to live from the version of yourself that you're becoming, not the one you've outgrown. It's when you start saying, I'm done living on autopilot. It's when you stop waiting for permission to be happy and start creating your own joy. It's when you stop chasing validation from others and start recognizing your own worth. Transformation is quiet. It doesn't always look like fireworks. Sometimes it looks like walking away from what no longer serves you. Sometimes it looks like sitting in silence, healing old wounds. Sometimes it's just choosing peace over drama, discipline over distraction, and purpose over comfort. The people who truly change their lives are the ones who turn inward before they act outward. They take time to understand their patterns, to heal their emotions, to master their mindset. Because when your inner world is in order, your outer world naturally follows. You can't build a stable life on a foundation of chaos. You can't find peace in the world if you don't have peace within yourself. The calm, confident, purposeful people you admire aren't lucky. They're aligned. They've done the inner work that most people avoid. When you decide to look within, you become powerful beyond measure. Because now, instead of waiting for the world to change, you become the change. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop looking for light outside and start realizing you've had it all along. Transformation begins when you recognize that you are both the problem and the solution, both the question and the answer. You are not broken. You're just unfolding. You're remembering your strength. You're rediscovering your potential. And once you awaken to that truth, You can't go back to the old way of living. You begin to see challenges as opportunities to grow, pain as a teacher, and setbacks as setups for something greater. The external world may test you, but it can't defeat you when your inner world is strong. Because no storm can destroy a person who has built peace within themselves. So if you want to change your life, don't just chase the next big thing. Start by looking inward. Heal what hurts, challenge what limits you, redefine what's possible. Because transformation doesn't begin when life gets easier. It begins when you get stronger inside. When your thoughts evolve, your world evolves. When your mindset expands, your opportunities expand. And when your heart opens, your life opens. The greatest transformation you'll ever experience isn't about what you achieve. It's about who you become. And it all starts within.